Welcome, everybody, to Trail Tales. This is Tom Funk, your host. Thanks for joining me today for another episode of Million Steps, which is my travel narrative of hiking across the Michigan's Upper Peninsula back in 1998, trying to find as much of the North Country Trail and hike it as much as possible and as much as I could find. We are now in Marquette County, which is named after Father Jacques Marquette. And Father Jacques Marquette was, of course, a Roman Catholic priest who was a humanitarian and a saver of souls. And the county is named after him, and it happens to be the Michigan's largest county, which is actually larger than the state of Rhode Island. Today is August the 5th, 1998. I'm starting in Van Riper State Park, and I'm going to end on a road walk at the intersection of M28 Business Loop and M28 itself in West Ishpeming. I'm going to do 14.9 miles today for a trip total of 212.4. No bugs to speak of, high of 80, low of 60, and it's a cloudy day today, and yeah, it's another road walk. Wildness is a civilization other than our own. Henry David Thoreau. Again, waking up bright and early is an easy thing to do when you are with Sean Miller. I feel guilty not getting out of bed when he does, so the shame gets me up. After dark last night, a small family camped next to us, filling the once vacant site. The father, about 35, brown hair, glasses, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, is walking into our campsite to pay a visit. "Who's backpacking?" he says, with the chirpness only 10 cups of coffee would give someone. "He is," says Sean, pointing at me. "Really? Where?" I respond, "North Country Trail to St. Ignace," I say, fidgeting with my new toy, a bell sent to me by my dear friend Sylvia. Hopefully it will take care of the bears, but obviously it does not work on humans. We just came back from visiting the Yellowstone Glacier. I really envy what you're doing. I have the wife and the kids. We don't backpack, but we do pull over and bushwhack and hike trails. Mildly interested, we listen as we fiddle with our stuff. I'm not a big fan of crowds. You probably don't see too many folks on the trail, do you? We mostly wait on the entrance road to get in, and after sitting for 2 hours, we got out, made our own adventure by bushwhacking into the park, and he says with a chuckle. My kind of family. Yeah, when you go to national parks, especially the busy ones in the summertime, you spend a lot of time on pavement. These guys, I admire what they're doing by getting out of the car and bushwhacking. Today's adventure will lead me to West Ishpeming on the western outskirts of Marquette. Sean and I arranged to meet at the M28 and Business 28 intersection, which is about 15 miles from Van Riper. Time for me to meditate. Walking into the town of Champion, I see where they proudly claim home to the world's largest draft horse pulling contest. A severely dilapidated sign welcomes the cautious visitor. The sign, well, it probably hasn't been changed since 1972. Really. That's what the sign says. 1972 World Champions. Paint chips, weathering, and rust is evident. I think the sign would be better off in a landfill or museum instead of embarrassing this small burb. Champion was home to the Champion Mine Company from 1867 to 1910 and has been called Beacon and Champion Mine before taking Champion and losing the word mine for its current name. My first human contact, as cars seem like alien objects to me, was the clerk at the mobile station in Champion. The young lady, hair pulled back and makeup resembling a bad drywalling project, is completely disinterested in my endeavor. Making my purchases, I leave and continue to meditate towards lunch. I think she'd rather have a lobotomy than talk to the likes of me. A fenced-in ball field, complete with dugouts and pit toilets, welcomes my presence as falling rain forces me to hop over the fence and take refuge in the third base dugout. A gravel infield, a chain-link monster of a fence in the left field, kind of like at Fenway Park, and pit toilets describe Ely Township Park. The pit toilet is full and quite disgusting. A pleasurable accent is that the toilet seat, well, it's made of cardboard wrapped in duct tape. Those imaginative youpers. Therefore, I lighten myself in the bushes. Between the sites of Humboldt and Clarksburg, there are also quite a few of other named places around here. Wabick, Barren Mine, Snowville, Diorite, and Clowry are the ones within 5 miles of me right now. If I had to guess, they probably were mining towns. Humboldt is so named because of its proximity to the Humboldt Range, a section of the Huron Mountains. Wabick is the Chippewa word for any mineralized foundation. The name diorite is for the geological description of a type of igneous rock. Clowry, well, it's after one of the first families establishing a homestead in the area. Again, these were mining towns. Now they're all ghost towns. Covered in graffiti, I do not feel guilty about leaving my mark in the dugout. Tango Foxtrot was here. North Country Trail, 1998. Bagel, peanut butter, figs, gorp, orange juice, and a little Copernicus and a catnap later, I pummel my feet on the pavement again. When I crest hills, I have igneous rock formations on either side. One formation had a small fault where the rock above it has cracked and is slowly sliding over the rock below. I read about this in my Geology of Michigan textbook. I even took a photo. Click. Sean ardently flags me down about 3 miles before my final destination. "You have about 3 miles to go," he says, seated in his car. "Where will I find you?" I ask. "Look for me where Business 28 goes to south. There's a gas station right across the road. Meet me there." "Okay," I say. "Toward Ishpeming," he goes. Toward Ishpeming I go. An unbending east wind along the sky-scraping but skeletal clouds coming in from the west could be the harbinger of bad weather. Cresting yet another hill, looking down on humanity, I see pavement everywhere. The 2-lane state highway widens to 4 lanes with the complementary stores and gas stations. The plan is to skirt Marquette and take a few back county roads so I don't have to walk through Marquette, saving some time. Walking downhill the sidewalk. Ha! Look, a sidewalk. Oh my gosh. Haven't seen one of those since, Rousseau. Well, it's made of asphalt, so it's really no different than walking the road. I see the gas station. I see Sean, lost somewhere as he reads his book. "Hi-ho," I say. I throw my pack in his car, back to Van Riper State Park. "I traced tomorrow's route for you," says Sean. "You did? Hey, thanks, buddy. Basically follow Business 28 until it takes a sharp left turn. Keep going straight until you hit a T intersection, then turn left. You'll see County 480 on your right, and you will turn right. You'll be walking through Negaunee and Ishpeming tomorrow." "Cool. Thank you, sir." We made it back to the site where we set up a tarp over a table since it was starting to rain. Paul and Barb come over and stay even later than the last night and are even more intoxicated as well. Today, they apparently rented a canoe and went out onto Lake Michigamme. They started to swim, but they did not realize that the canoe had blown down the lake. "I would have let it go and not returned except my smokes and brewer in it," says Paul. What a drunk. Sean and I went to bed, and those 2 drunks stayed up, arguing, yelling. Heck, they even invited some guy to play his guitar. Mind you, it is 2 or 3 in the morning, and we are about 50 feet away. At about 6 a.m., it finally got quiet. I think I got about an hour's worth of good sleep last night. Where was the ranger during all of this? Yeah, that's kind of the thing with this trip is, when we were camping, we'd be around other people. And, back in the day, going camping meant, getting drunk and having a good time. And that was not uncommon, an experience for me even before I was a backpacker. So when I was younger in college and I would go camping, I'd always seek to find like a national forest campground or someplace pretty remote to avoid a lot of the nonsense that was going on in state parks. So, all right. Thanks for joining me again on Trail Tales, and I'm your host, Tom Funk. I thank you for joining me, and we will see you again. And if you have any questions or anything, need to clarify something, just reach out to me on my social media. My Facebook is Tom Funk's Worldly Adventures. You can also find me on YouTube, Tom's Worldly Adventures, Instagram, Tom's Worldly Adventures, where I post photos and stories and things like that. So, all right, well, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.